Hey friends, welcome back to another video. My name is Emma Lefave, and as you're watching this, there's a very good chance I have already had my little baby boy, but as I'm filming this, I am still very pregnant. So what we've decided to do, as I'm currently on a bit of a mat leave and adjusting to life as a mother of two, we've compiled a bunch of my old videos from 1, 2, 3 years ago that we are going to be playing on Fridays for a Flashback Friday series. As my channel is starting to reach almost 500 videos and there being so many new subscribers every week, I'm sure there is a ton you have missed. So get ready for Fridays that are full of some of my favorite videos that hopefully you haven't even seen yet. So the one thing I do want you to keep in mind that if we are throwing back to videos from a year or 2 or 3 ago, there's a lot I have learned since then. I haven't been formally trained. A lot of this stuff I have discovered or taught myself, so I have learned a lot as an artist through the years, and my techniques have probably changed a lot. So if there's a video where my audio's not great, or maybe the camera work's not great, or maybe I leave my paintbrush in water for a little bit longer than I should, just keep in mind I've learned a lot since then. But it's also a lot of fun to kind of look back and see how far I've come as a content creator and as well as an artist. While I'm on mat leave and doing probably a lot of night feedings, I will be trying to check my comments as often as possible, so make sure you shoot me a message or a comment on my videos so we can chat while I'm up on those extremely late, sleepless nights. Overall, I really hope you enjoy these Flashback Fridays, so let's jump into our video. Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to show you how to paint some watercolor birds. So let's do it. Okay, so to start, I'm going to go through my materials that I'm using today. I have my B watercolor paper, I have my Winsor Cotman watercolors, I have my Princeton snap brush in a size 6. I also have a regular old pencil and an eraser, my water and my paper towel, and I may also be using this bleed-proof white ink at some point. I haven't decided yet, but we'll see what happens. And we're ready to go. So I've had so many people ask me to draw birds, and I had never drawn birds, and then I tried practicing and it was a disaster. So I kept practicing and I feel like I might have got it down, not well, but in a way that I think I can teach you, and then you guys can do it too. We'll see how this goes. Anyway, if you've seen my other tutorials of how I draw animals, every animal and people, they're all made out of shapes. So we're gonna start by sketching some shapes. So I'm gonna be drawing 3 birds, and we're gonna start with a circle head, okay? Do not sketch too dark. You wanna be able to erase it after. Then you are going to sketch a larger oval, okay? We are going to make this a fatter oval, actually, because this bird is facing forward, okay? It's gonna be a fatter, it's gonna be a circle, it's not gonna be an oval. Okay, it's gonna be a fat little bird, okay? And then what you're gonna do is you're going to put a little triangle for the beak here, and then you are going to go over these lines, connecting this head. It's going to go straight down from here and around, this here and around, like that, to this fat little body. And then you can just sketch out the feet, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then you're going to do a tail, some long curved shapes like that. Okay, we have the shape of our first bird. So let's erase that middle. I really should invest in a better pencil, but I just use whatever. I think I took that from my old classroom when I was teaching. Okay. And I like kneaded erasers because they erase pretty well too. Okay, I'm just gonna go around like that. And there you guys have your shape of your first bird. See? Pretty simple. Okay, our next bird is gonna be facing this way. So you're gonna do the same kind of thing. Let's do it on a different level. So this one's gonna be a bit further down. Okay, we got a circle for the head. And now this one is going to have a longer oval body because it's from the side. Okay. Like so. Draw your beak like that. And then you are going to draw the outline of the bird. Now you're not going to go right around the edge of this circle. You're going to go further past like this. Okay. And you're going to go right straight down, missing that oval like that. So you want that amount of space behind. And then this part is going to go straight down and connect to that belly of that oval. Like that. Bring it in the curve, and then you're just going to do those wispy tail feathers right there. Okay? Then again, those feet like that, and you can erase your middle. Really try not to move my desk too much. Okay. There's two bird shapes. And then the last one we're going to do is a cardinal. And I found this one a little bit more difficult, but I'm going to try to explain it. Okay, so this one we're going to bring up a bit more. I'm going to do a circle for the head. Okay, and a big oval for the body. Maybe an upside, almost like an upside down egg shape, okay? So it's bigger at the chest area and a bit more narrow as you get down there, okay? Do your beak facing this way. So just a triangle. And now we are going to go from the front of the face, and you're just going to go right up and then do some little lines like this, coming away from the circle. You're not going to go right next to the circle. You want the head to be a bit bigger. Right to where the other side of this oval is, okay? And then you're going to connect this to the oval. Coming down like that. And you're going to have some, you're going to go out a bit for feathers this way. You're going to have your feet. And then, I mean, you know what? No, we're going to erase this part. We're going to have the tail going the other way to make some more room. So this is just going to come around that oval, and then we're going to come out with some feathers on this side, and then the wispy tail feathers that way. Are we good? I hope so. Okay, so we have our outline shapes of our birds. Now it's up to you if you want these to be ink drawings as well first. You can definitely do that. Or you can just make them watercolor. I'm gonna try and make them just watercolor and see how they look. And then I may add some ink after. I'm gonna try and put this wing. I'm gonna try and make it a wing here. Okay. Oh, right. And now let's mark where we want these eyes. So I'm gonna put an eye right here, right at the top where the beak is. Nice circle there. Over here. And then with the cardinal, they have these distinct black marks on their face, and then the rest is red. So I'm just gonna bring it up here, bring it down, and then go around the eye. I might even put the eye a little bit further away. All right, I hope this isn't boring and you guys can just see my process of how I figure this out. I'm gonna go around the eye, come in, like that. Okay, and I definitely suggest you look at some reference photos as you go. It's always helpful. And like, actually, let's outline this beak. So you're gonna come in and down like that, if that makes sense. And same with these beaks. I'm gonna go like a little point, like so. Okay, I think we're good. Okay, now I'm just gonna lighten up all of these lines so you can't see them as much under the watercolor. I'm not too worried about it showing, but it's fine. Okay. Might actually bring this head up a bit. Okay, so let's start with our first bird. This is gonna be like a robin. So we want that red breast robin with the brown and then the white underneath. So I'm gonna start off by making a brown. So I have my burnt umber here, and I'm just gonna go around the head here like this, around the eye, and then down the back here, making that brown. Okay. Gonna go back and get a bit more brown. I'm just gonna start dropping in more color, like that. Okay. Then I am going to get some Payne's Gray. And I'm just gonna bring it down over here and then along the bottom of this bird. Then I'm gonna wash off my brush, dry it a bit, and drag up that color a bit because it's a little bit white underneath here. So I want to blend it out and have it darker at the bottom and by this wing here. Okay, like that. And it's also going to be Payne's Gray underneath here. Like that. I might get a bit more, darken it up with some lines, like so. Okay. I'm just adding some texture. Okay, now I'm gonna take my cadmium red, which is a pretty orangey red. Might actually take some cadmium orange. Maybe not. Maybe some yellow ochre. I want it to be a bit more natural looking, and then mix it with this brown. I don't want it to be too vibrant. I want it a nice kind of earthy orange, like that, okay? And I'm just going to go around this face here. And the brown is already dried on my paper. I'm just going to bring down that orange. I'm going to leave some white space in between that light gray and the orange. Okay. I'm going to add a bit more yellow. Try and get some feathers going with the tip of my brush. A bit more red. And then I'm going to get some burnt umber brown and darken it up. Like that. I feel like it looks a little weird. And especially because this brown had already dried, it looks more like a layer now. So I think I'm going to go over this brown and have it blend a bit better with the orange. Okay. I'm gonna grab a bit of black, darken up that brown. Grab a bit more black, darken up part of the wing over here. Just adding a bit of texture like that. Okay. And then I'm gonna take a bit more Payne's Gray. And this is already dry, so I'm just creating more texture on the tail. And underneath. don't know if you can hear my son, but his new favorite word is no. Gotta love the toddler life. Okay. I feel like this part is a bit too light or dark for me. I don't know. Just gonna add some more texture over here. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna let that dry a bit. I'll do the feet. Take some Payne's Gray and black. And you're just gonna do some rough little feet coming out the bottom here. And if you wanted to paint a branch, you totally could do that too. And then we will wait fully for this to dry before we do the eye and the beak. And now I'm gonna move on to this bird, which I feel like he could be a bit chubbier, to be honest. I want a nice fluffy little bird. So I'm just gonna erase that part. And I'm gonna have him come down just a bit and a bit fatter. Get a nice little belly going. And I think his beak could be higher. Let's point his head up a bit. So we have that shape, and then like that. That's a bit better for me. Okay. And this guy is gonna be white and black. So I'm gonna start off with our lightest shade, which will be the gray, because none of these guys are fully white. You always do like a tint of something. I'm just taking a bit of gray. This actually has a bit of brown in it, or orange, that's fine. A bit of gray, and I'm just gonna do the belly here. Wash off my brush and drag it out. All the parts that I want white. My son is literally just saying no, no, no over and over again to my husband. Everything is no. Okay, and I'm just gonna add a bit more of the Payne's Gray to areas like the under part here. Then there's gonna be a wing over here. So I'm just adding a bit of shadow there, bit of shadow there. Like that. I might even add a bit of brown to the chest, just right there. Okay, and then we're gonna go a bit darker with that Payne's Gray. Adding some wing texture. So I'm just doing like long, circular kind of shapes, okay? Now I'm just blending it out. I will do more to make it darker on top after, but I just wanted a bit of that texture to start. Just using the tip of my brush. Like that. And then I'm gonna do a bit more down here, like that. Go over it with the darker Payne's Gray again. And I might add some white to this after too, little white flecks. Okay, now I'm gonna do the black part, and I don't really want it to blend into that white. So I just wanna hopefully make sure it's dry, hopefully. I'm gonna do the shape of the head first. I'm gonna go around the eye. And then under the beak here, under the mouth, that, just making some feathery lines with the tip of my brush. You know what, this beak is gonna be the same color, so I'm just gonna do it, a light wash of that black, like that. Then I'm going to add a bit more darkness, so a bit more paint. Like that. Maybe a bit under here where the wings are a bit. Like that. Okay, I'm going to do the feet. Then I'm going to wet up over here a bit. And I'm just going to add some dots on the chest. Just some subtle little dots. Little speckled feathers. Just to give it a bit more texture, okay? But not too harsh because it's wet on wet. Like that, okay? Okay, so we'll come back to that one too when it's fully dry and do a bit more detail. Now let's move on to this cardinal, which is something that scares me, but that's fine. Okay, so I'm gonna take my cadmium red, which is that orangey red, and I'm gonna go over the chest of the bird. Actually, we're gonna go over the whole bird except where the black face is. And the reason why I'm using cadmium red is because I'm gonna darken it up with the cadmium red deep after. I'm just using the lighter, brighter red first. So let's paint that little mohawk. Just using the tip of my brush to get that outline. Okay. And then I'm going to go in with some cadmium red deep around the chest and the base here, and then the wing underneath, just to get two different tones of red. Like that. Getting some texture over here where this wing is going to be, and then also where the tail is. Like that, okay? Okay. So I want to do a bit more detail on this. Actually, I'm going to add a bit of black to my cadmium red deep to get a darker shade of that red while it's still wet and just getting some shadows in there. So on that wing, on the tail, and then underneath the belly here. Okay, and then maybe around where that eye will be. Like that, just to add a bit of shadow. Like that. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna let that one dry and we're gonna come back to this one. That's why I'm working on 3 birds. Instead of just having to wait for it to dry and then keep painting, move on to something else while you're waiting. Okay, so let's add a bit more detail to this little robin guy. I wanna add some more feathery like textures, especially to the brown here. So I'm just gonna start with my lighter brown. I'm just gonna use the tip of my brush to make those feathery shapes. And then little wisps. Okay, it should be dry, so you should be doing a wet on dry for this. Okay, and then I'm gonna take a bit of black with that brown, get a bit darker with some of those shapes for the wing. Okay, and I'm not really gonna do the darkness around the face. But we are gonna do this beak. I'm just gonna turn my paper a bit. I'm gonna darken this little beak. Like that. I'm gonna take a little bit of black. Do a line there like that. And we can actually start doing this eye too. So we're gonna paint it fully black. If you want a smaller brush for this, go for it. And we're just gonna leave a little bit of a white dot for the eye reflection. I might add a little bit of an outline to the eye. Maybe not, I might do that with white after. But I feel like this brown needs a bit more texture still. So I'm taking that darker shade and I'm still gonna add a bit of texture to the brown on the head. Like that. Okay, now let's brighten up this chest of his a bit more. Get that cadmium red, a bit of the yellow ochre. Okay. I'm just going to go over this a bit. I want a bit more yellow on his chest. I'm just going to go over that bit. And then add in the brighter cadmium red towards the edges. I want the highlight in the middle of this chest. Like so. Washing off my brush, might grab a bit more of that Payne's Gray. Do a couple more feathers. I'm going to blend it out with the orange a bit, like that. And he's pretty good. I think I might get a bit darker brown too, and just add a bit of texture. But I think our little robin's pretty good. Okay, so there's that one. And I'm liking this one too. I think that's pretty good. I might just add a bit more feathery texture to this white part here. So a bit more Payne's Gray. Really nice light wash, and I'm just gonna do a little flicking shapes, and I'm gonna add a bit more darkness to that beak. And his eye. I forgot to leave that white space, but that's what white ink is for. Okay, so you can also add more shadow or more detail on those ones if you want, but I think I'm going to try and keep it a bit more simple. I want more detail on this, sorry, excuse me. Yeah, okay, now our cardinal, yeah, he's dry enough. Okay, I'm going to go into that face with the black. Okay, using those strokes like they're little bits of hair around that eye. And that beak is going to be bright red too. I probably should have done that earlier, but I can do it once the black dries. Like that. Actually, I'm going to do the eye there. I'm going to do some more detail on the eyes once this is all dry, I think. But right now I just filled it in black. Okay. Let's do this guy's feet. And then we're going to do a bit more detail on his wings. Okay, so it's all dry, so I'm just doing those really light pressured kind of, they're almost like U shapes, okay? Just going up and down with the tip of your brush. Adding some darker bits. And then with lighter wash of that, just adding some texture on the chest. Excuse my sniffles. Just adding some texture with some wet paint, some more red paint. Like that. Go into the black part again, make it a bit darker. Like that. Okay. I feel like I could have done the feet a bit better. Might add a bit of black in this tail and in parts of the wings. Like that. Now I'm going to do that beak. I'm going to take that cadmium red. Like that. I think that's a bit too opaque for me. I want it a bit lighter. Then I'll take some cadmium red deep. Just go a bit deeper, like that. Like so. Okay, might take some of that dark red too. There. All right, now for the last part, what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a bit of my bleed-proof white ink and I'm just gonna go around the eyes a bit to make them pop a bit more. I'm just gonna turn this and I'm just going to do a little really, really light line around the eye and then a little highlight. Again, like that. And then same with this one. Just so you can see where it is. And then if you wanted to use this white ink as highlights of feathers, you could totally do that too. Just where you think there'd be highlights, so maybe on the chest a bit. I don't know how I feel about this cardinal's eye. I feel like it should be darker. Like that. But there you go. You know what? I feel like that's as good as it's gonna get for me. And I don't mind it. I think it turned out pretty cute. And you could always add a branch and some snow falling, have some winter birds. But that's about it. There are your 3 birds. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it and I hope you learned something. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and follow me on Instagram for even more. Have a great day, guys. Bye.